What is up, vinyl community? You are now in Columbus, Ohio, and we are on our way to the Colleen's Record Fair, record show. Colleen and Max are married, and they've been doing the Columbus record shows here for for a couple decades, many years. They used to hold it at the Veterans Memorial on West Broad Street for a long time, and in the 90s I actually went there a couple times, but I was looking for CDs and bootlegs. They're just great people. They have some really good stories about being in and around the music scene in Columbus for a long time. Max remembers seeing Kiss walking into the Newport Music Hall. Then it was called the Agora, with their makeup and huge platform shoes, and like wondering what's going on. Colleen saw Janis Joplin hanging out, walking around on Broad Street with her boa on, and she describes seeing her just walking around before shows. So they've been in Columbus for a long time. They got some great stories, good people. They hold these shows. They charge everybody per table, and then they have their own table set up because they have their own record. They have their own record store. But you charge per table. Dealers pay them to get some space, and they just kind of go from there. They hold them once a quarter, and I've been going there on and off for probably 7 years. So I just want to turn the camera on this time and share a little bit of my experience going to this record fair, what I've learned, and what my approach is now. And hopefully you guys come along for the ride. I'm not sure what kind of video I'm going to get inside. I know it's a little darker in there, which means I brought a flashlight. It's always a good idea to bring a flashlight, because what looks like VG, VG Plus might really be VG. So that's one thing I've learned. Another thing is with record fairs, I mean, we got the internet, you got eBay and Discogs, so it's not like you got to be so competitive that you got to really rub elbows and push people out of the way to get to find that grail, because it's probably on Discogs or eBay, and the dealers are selling. The prices are really high. They're at high, if not a little higher than Discogs and eBay, usually so they can bargain a few dollars off. So I always go in with a relaxed kind of attitude. If I find something I want, I grab it. If not, I'll pass it up, So I got a budget I stick to. I know the fair's coming up, and get a little bit of cash saved up and try and go there and have fun. The idea is to, talk to some dealers, maybe learn a little bit, and find some good stuff along the way. Some people's approach is to get there first in line, ready to go. I don't see the point in doing that, not for me. If you go in there and you're just trying to find $4 or $5, $8 records, $10 records, chances are, I don't know, I don't see the point of getting there early for that. I would get there early if I was meeting people. If I was meeting people there, I definitely would get there early, just because we would pass the time by talking and hanging out. But me by myself, I got up this morning, I listened to Chick Corea's Return to Forever, their album No Mystery. Great. Had a cup of coffee, went for a bike ride. Now it's about 10:30, and I'm on my way to the show, and the show will run about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, you know what I realized that I can do? I just realized I can do this. Alright, so we're up north of Columbus a little ways, and just about here. I've only been here one other time, so I'm looking for this. Should be over here off to my right. This new location is pretty dark. Like I said, bring a flashlight. My approach is always to not pick up, several 15, 20, several $20 records. I'm looking for that one really nice record that'll go for about $50 and be a really cool addition to the collection. All right, looks like I'm just about one turn away. See you inside. Whenever I go into a record fair, record show, I always have kind of a mental checklist, kind of a scavenger hunt, if you will. The first thing I try to look for is the Boston self-titled album with the guitar on the cover. Try to see how fast I can find that record. I always kind of eavesdrop and listen to people having their conversations. I try to hear how many times the Butcher cover comes up, or somebody's explaining about the Butcher cover in the different states of that. What's another one? Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. I have this little list, and it's just like, it's the things that you hear at a record show. You think they'll have any Beatles records inside?
Dude.
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
How's business?
Good, I guess. I kind of took the summer off from doing shows. I'm not really...
Yeah?
I'm more of a collector anymore than, you know...
Yeah.
I did real good in Austin.
Step away from it a little bit, relax.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know it's pretty stressful.
A bunch of shows every year, every weekend being gone. So I do this in Chicago and my own show pretty much anymore.
I want to come out to Chicago. Which one's a good one to hit?
Hillside, that's the one to go to.
Hillside? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll come up and see you out there.
150 tables, something like that.
I'm shooting a video today for my followers on YouTube and talking about the Columbus Record Fair. I realized I haven't been to the other shows.
Yeah.
What you got back there on that wall?
No, it's really good.
I'll take both those Trouble records and
Trouble, Replacements, original pressing REM, original press Queensryche, promo. Got tons of Queen promos right now. Fat Bottom Girls, music on vinyl, Alice in Chains, Madcap Laughs. I mean, yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some good stuff in the psych section and the alternative section as well.
Hey, what'd you find? Look at that. So how did you come across these pressings? If I got the camera on, if you don't mind.
I got a friend in Japan that I purchased a lot of vinyls from. Usually get shipped in these couple times a month from Japan.
Nice.
He works with me. And, you know,
There's the, do you have the other Pantera?
that's all I have right now.
You don't see that one too often.
Just got one more album coming out before he hangs it up. I gotta order those double remasters.
All right, back after the record show. Kind of a light crowd today. Not a lot of people here. I think it's because of the due to the weather. I mean, it's a really nice day out today. Maybe everybody's out enjoying the weather instead of looking for records. But I like that because it gave me plenty of space to dig and take my time, talk to dealers, and really look through records and look them up and think about purchases. Let me find a spot to pull over here so I can show you. I was getting ready to hit the road. I'm hungry, ready for lunch, but I got to show off what I found, right? See, I'll pull over here in this shade right here. All right. So, yeah, not a lot of people there today. I mean, it's a pretty good group, but I expected more. Let's see what's in my bag. So, killer score of the day. Picked up a Japanese first pressing of Diary of a Madman. Rudy Sarzo, Randy Rhoads, Ozzy, Tommy Aldridge. Just a killer album. Most everybody in the vinyl community is very familiar with this album, but I really wanted to get a clean, great sounding Japanese pressing. Once I was a little skeptical about Japanese pressings, or I knew, that they're probably really nice to have or sound really good, but a little bit more expensive. But once I got a good deal on one, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, I was sold. So there's a few artists where I want to land the Japanese pressings, and this is one of them. So landed that. 2 other grails I found today, not expecting to find not only one, but 2. Actually, there were 3 available. I already had the 3rd one. Trouble albums. Heavy metal band, doomish, and very influential on the doom scene. This is their 1st and 3rd album. This one is Psalm 9:9, I think, or self-titled. This one is their 3rd album, Run to the Light. They had a sealed copy of The Skull, but I already had that one thanks to John's Record Rack. Sent me that one to get me started on Trouble. I was not aware of the band until he sent me that record, and they're killer. You guys might be familiar with their 4th or 5th album. I have that cassette, and that's where I was familiar with Trouble, but I had no idea they were as great as they were until I started listening. So it was really a no-brainer to pick these up. Really good finds. Looking to add more Trouble, especially trying to find their 4th album, their self-titled album from 1989, and trying to find that on vinyl. One of the pickups, pretty rare for me to pick up a CD, but I stopped over at the Gods booth. The Gods 70s band, Gotta Keep Her Running was one of their singles. I featured them on 70s Hard and Heavy. I also mentioned them in the Metal Obsession as being one of the early influencers bands because they're from the Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio area. But sad news in the camp, the Gods camp this year, because Eric Moore passed away back in May. But they've recently released their greatest hit CD, and I went and talked to the manager of the band. He always has a table at Colleen's Record Fair, and I usually say hi to the guys. But I said hi today and offered him my condolences for the loss of his friend, and I went ahead and picked up the greatest hits, which also has stuff from Mongolians. You might be familiar with the first 2 Gods albums, but Mongolians is another underrated 80s album, but has a couple tracks from that. So that's what I found. Great day at the record show. So now back to my day, and I want to get the windows down. It's really nice out, so let some of the fresh air in here. So you guys take care and happy hunting.